Hey, hey, a person so funny. Funny, yeah? Welcome to Twitreadings again. We're still on the 7 cures for a lean pet from the book The Richest Man in Babylon. Welcome to part 2 of chapter 4. Let's go. The third cure for a lean purse. Make thy gold multiply. Behold, thy lean purse is fattening. Thou hast disciplined thyself to leave therein 1/10 of all thou earnest. Thou hast controlled thy expenditures to protect thy growing treasure. Next, we will consider means to put thy treasure to labor and to increase. Gold in a purse is gratifying to own, and satisfieth a miserly soul, but earns nothing. The gold we may retain from our earnings is but the start. The earnings it will make shall build our fortunes. So spoke Arkad upon the 3rd day to his class. How therefore may we put our gold to work? My first investment was unfortunate, for I lost all. Its tale I will relate later. My first profitable investment was a loan I made to a man named Arkad, a shield maker. Once each year did he buy large shipments of bronze brought from across the sea to use in his trade. Lacking sufficient capital to pay the merchants, he would borrow from those who had extra coins. He was an honorable man. His borrowing he would repay, together with a liberal rental as he sold his shields. Each time I loaned to him, I loaned back also the rental he had paid to me. Therefore, not only did my capital increase, but its earnings likewise increased. Most gratifying was it to have these sums returned to my purse. I tell you, my students, a man's wealth is not in the coins he carries in his purse. It is the income he buildeth, the golden stream that continually flowed into his purse and keepeth it always bulging. That is what every man desireth. That is what thou, each one of thee, desireth, an income that continueth to come whether thou work or travel. Great income I have acquired, so great that I am called a very rich man. My loans to Arkad were my first training in profitable investment. Gaining wisdom from this experience, I extended my loans and investments as my capital increased. From a few sources at first, from many sources later, flowed into my purse a golden stream of wealth available for such wise users as I should decide. Behold, from my humble earnings I had begotten a herd of golden slaves, each laboring and earning more gold. As they labored for me, so their children also labored, and their children's children, until great was the income from their combined efforts. Gold increased rapidly when making reasonable earnings, as thou would see from the following. A farmer, when his first son was born, took 10 pieces of silver to a moneylender and asked him to keep it on rental for his son until he became 20 years of age. This the moneylender did, and agreed the rental should be 1/4 of its value each 4 years. The farmer asked, because this sum he had set aside as belonging to his son, that the rental be added to the principal. When the boy had reached the age of 20 years, the farmer again went to the moneylender to inquire about the silver. The moneylender explained that because this sum had been increased by compound interest, the original 10 pieces of silver had now grown to 30 1/2 pieces. The farmer was well pleased, and because the son did not need the coins, he left them with the moneylender. When the son became 50 years of age, The father, meantime, having passed to the other world, the moneylender paid the son in settlement 167 pieces of silver. Thus, in 50 years, had the investment multiplied itself a rental almost 17 times. This, then, is the third cure for a lean purse, to put each coin to laboring that it may produce its kind even as the flocks of the field, and help bring to thee income, a stream of wealth that shall flow constantly into thy purse. Let's move to the fourth cure. Guard thy treasures from loss. Guard thy treasures from loss. Misfortune loves a shining mark. Gold in a man's purse must be guarded with firmness, else it will be lost. Thus it is wise that we must first secure small amounts and then learn to protect them before the gods entrust us with larger. So spoke Arkad upon the fourth day to his class. Every owner of gold is tempted by opportunities, whereby it will seem that he would make large sums by its investments in small plausible projects. Often friends and relatives are eagerly entering such investments and urge him to follow. The first sound principle of investment is security for thy principal. Is it wise to be intrigued by larger earnings when thy principal may be lost? I say not. The penalty of risk is probable loss. Study carefully before parting with thy treasure, each assurance that it may be safely reclaimed. Be not misled by thine own romantic desires to make wealth rapidly. Before thou loan it to any man, assure thyself that his ability to pay and his reputation for doing so, that thou mayest not unwittingly be making him a present of thy hard-earned treasure. Before thou entrust it as an investment in any field, acquaint thyself with the dangers which may beset thee. My own first investment was a tragedy to me at the time. The guarded savings of a year I did entrust to a brickmaker named Uzma, who was traveling over the far seas, and in turn agreed to buy for me the rare jewels of the Phoenicians. These we will sell upon his return and divide the profits. The Phoenicians were scoundrels and sold to him bits of glass. My treasure was lost. Today, my training would show to me at once the folly of entrusting a brickmaker to buy jewels. Therefore do I advise thee from the wisdom of my experience. Be not too confident in thy own wisdom in entrusting thy treasures to the possible pitfalls of investment. Better by far to consult the wisdom of those experienced in handling money for profit. Such advice is freely given for the asking, and may readily possess a value equal in gold to the sum of thou considerest investing. In truth, such is its actual value if it save thee from loss. This then is the fourth cure for a lean purse, and of great importance if it prevents thy purse from being emptied once it has become well filled. Guard thy treasure from loss by investing only where thy principal is safe, where it may be reclaimed if desirable, and where thou wilt not fail to collect a fair rental. Consult with wise men. Secure the advice of those experienced in the profitable handling of gold. Let thy wisdom protect thy treasure from unsafe investments. The fifth cure for a lean purse. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. If a man setteth aside 9 parts of his earnings upon which to live and enjoy life, and if any parts of these 9 parts he can turn into a profitable investment without detriment to his well-being, then so much faster will his treasures grow. So spake Arkad to his class at their 5th lesson. All too many of our men of Babylon do raise their families in unseemly quarters. They do pay to exacting landlords liberal rentals for rooms where their wives have not a spot to raise the blooms that gladden the woman's heart, and their children have no place to play their games except in the unclean alleys. No man's family can fully enjoy life unless they do have a plot of ground wherein children can play in the clean earth, and where the wives may raise not only blossoms but good rich herbs to feed her family. To a man's heart it brings gladness to eat the figs from his own tree and the grapes of his own vines, to own his own domicile, and to have it a place he is proud to care for, putteth confidence in his heart and greater efforts behind all his endeavors. Therefore do I recommend that every man own a roof that sheltereth him and his. Nor is it beyond the ability of any well-intentioned man to own his home. Had not our great king so widely extended the walls of Babylon that within them much land is now unused and may be purchased at sums most reasonable? Also I say to you, my students, that the money lenders gladly consider the desires of men who seek home and land for their families. Readily may you borrow to pay the brickmaker and the builder for such commendable purposes, if thou canst show a reasonable portion of the necessary sum which thou thyself hast provided for the purpose. Then when the house be built, thou canst pay the money lender with the same regularity as thou didst pay the landlord, because each payment will reduce thy indebtedness to the money lender. A few years will satisfy his loan. Then will thy heart be glad, because thou wilt own thy own right a valuable property, and thy only cost will be the king's taxes. Also will thy good wife go more often to the river to wash thy robes, that each time returning she may bring a goatskin of water to pour upon the growing thing. Thus come many blessings to the man who owneth his own house, and greatly will it reduce the cost of living, making available more of his earnings for pleasure and the gratification of his desires. This then is the 5th cure for a lean purse: own thy own home. So part 2 just ended, and we have 3 more cures. Please don't get tired now. We're getting there. The first one is to do investment with your earnings. Besides, you've hoarded all this money over like a year, 2 years. What is it doing still sitting there at where you are hoarding it? Nothing. Meanwhile, you can use it for something to gain more. You let the money work for you. You get it? So that's what Arkad is telling us to do. Let your money work for you. So you invest it. What is an investment anyway? See, what are some of the investments that are available? Should I do business? Or should I just put it in the bank? Just go there and ask about their investment plans and just drop it there. Or do a business. Sell shutters, sell makeup kits, build something, What should I do with my earnings? That is one of the headaches that we mostly have. But let's sit down, relax, investigate the topic, and then make a choice. The more you procrastinate, the longer your money sits there and does nothing. Procrastination is a wastage of time. So let's just get to it and get it done. Clear the space for other investment. So let's invest. But if you're investing, that goes to the second point. Protect your earnings from being lost. Didn't you suffer when taking 1/10 or 2/10 of your earnings? Please, me, I suffered. Oh. So let's protect our principal. Whatever we want to invest in, let us investigate it, as I would say, to make sure our principal earning is not lost. Yeah, people will say you need to take risk when doing a business. But please, there are reasonable risks that we can take. I can take some risks that I know the chance of retaining my principal earning is like a 20, 30, 10%. Yeah, there are people who are bold enough to do that and get huge amount of profits, but it's not advisable. You're just beginning. If you lose everything, it's like some of us will not bounce back. Some people won't bounce back. They will try again, but others will just be like, me and So please, when investing, think about it. If somebody comes for a loan, make sure the person would pay back. Don't be saying, oh, but you do not know if the person is trustworthy. There are a lot of lucrative investments that are so tempting, and people are doing it, and they're advising you to come into it. Just think about it. Is my principal earnings going to be lost? What are the risks associated with it? And the next skill, Arkad is telling us to get a house, to get a property, a place you can lay our head and be like, oh God, I don't need to pay a landlord anymore. I can't wait for that feeling, But how? I didn't have enough money, How am I supposed to get a property at this time where things are hard? Hello? Don't you pay a landlord on a regular basis? Tell me, how do you get that money? Living in Accra, living in Kumasi, living everywhere is like working hard to pay a landlord. How can I be working hard to put money in somebody's pocket? And I'm not saying they don't deserve it all. They deserve it because they worked to build it. But then, we are tired already. So let's find a way. Let's find a way to get a property. Either you buy a land and build, or you get some of these developers to build for you, or you buy the house. Yes, you buy. But where do we get this money from? There are many ways, okay? You can get a building mortgage from the banks. So you can just walk into any bank. If you are a permanent worker or a government worker or something, you can just walk in and talk to them about their mortgage plans and see if you can do any of them. Or you talk to the developers. You find a good, reputable estate developer and then talk to them about their installment plan. Some of them will buy the land, will start building, but before they start or anything, you pay a percentage. When they get to a level, you pay another percentage, and when they finish, you finish paying everything. Yes, and you buy it outright. Those are the plenty money. Please, so you can buy it outright too. So let's just find more about it. So I was thinking, if we want investments and property acquisition videos, my dear, you can just comment down there and let us know because we are here for you. So just comment below if you want an investment and property acquisition video, because we want the best for you. We are not just reading for reading's sake, but we're reading to build our lives. So on the next reading, we'll continue with the last 2 cures for a lean purse. Stick with me and let's fatten our purses. This is Twitreadings. Will come your way once again. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like the video if you really like it. Twitreadings just for you.